Hello ladies and gentlemen, it's Kaya and welcome back to my channel. I appreciate every single one of you guys coming to join me again this fine evening. Now, growing up, I always hated school. I also always hated private schools, even though I never went to one. It always seemed like every time I heard about someone in a private school, it was always a bad experience. And there was always something so weird about those schools. I mean, no matter what, I've always hated school. It is what it is. I'm just not a student. I'm sorry. It's just I'm not. Like, I'm smart. I'm just not a student. And honestly, I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate to this, especially right now of all times, because with the whole pandemic going on, I'm not gonna lie, school, kind of a force. Tell me down below what your schools are like. I'm just curious. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, how are you today? I'm doing just fine, and I hope you are too. And if not, cheer up, dog. It's gonna get better. For today's video, I have something really, I don't know how to say. Not really odd, because I'm sure this is quite frequent. Like, I'm sure things like this happen quite often. I'm gonna be honest. Like, nothing really surprises me anymore, especially with teachers shoving their kids in the closet and calling it a monster closet. Now, see, when I hear about things like this, I kind of just question where people's heads are at. Like, I completely understand, right? You just want to scare the kids a little bit because they're acting up in class. I get it, but honestly, there's better ways to punish kids. I mean, in this situation, they are, just young preschoolers. They're not even in elementary school yet. They're like 4, but there's truly no excuse that actually remains. As a teacher, you should be able to efficiently deal out simple punishments to help kids restructure themselves when they're not behaving in class. Now, I will say psychological torture does not count, especially when talking about efficiency due to long-term effects. So yeah, shoving kids in the closet, calling it a monster closet, when there's grown adults that are afraid of the dark, there's something wrong here. A little problem. There could also be the case of where you just don't like children. And honestly, that's okay. Don't become a teacher. Honestly, I really think the only people that should be becoming teachers are the people that hated school so much as a kid and they just want to change it. I'd probably be choke slamming kids, so I can't really be doing that, but it is what it is. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to start rolling the clips individually and then I'll talk about them as we go. Play it!
Classroom turned into a very scary place for at least one little boy.
Now listen, ladies and gentlemen, I know you guys are going to crucify me for pointing this out, but you have to understand how young this kid really is. Like, just look at him, and on top of that, he's drinking Hawaiian Punch. You could put that drink at the bottom of the Arctic Ocean, and I promise you it's still going to be hot. That drink is terrible, okay? Get it out of my face. I don't want to see it again. I'm going to cry. Hawaiian Punch gives me PTSD.
He says the teacher punished him and other students by putting them in what's called the monster closet. Reporter Jeremy Diesel has his story.
It's not unusual to hear this from a 4-year-old.
And there's a monster in there.
You know how sad that sounds, like in reality? Because when you think about it, right? Kids don't really lie, especially about things like this. So it's low-key heartbreaking to see like a little kid just like, yeah, there's a monster in there. And he firmly believes that there is a monster in that closet. And he barely escapes with his life every time. I'm more than sure that he's afraid of the dark, and I obviously think he's never seen the monster, but he still believes it's there, even though he's gonna be switching schools. He also probably doesn't realize that the teachers that are doing this are gonna be fired as well. So at least at this point in time, he'll never really be tortured again by these people in particular, which is a good thing. That is something to be thankful about, because this article, well, this story in general is pretty old, especially by, the way you can tell. Like, look how old the footage looks. This obviously isn't the most modern day thing ever, but stuff like this isn't foreign at all. I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys have stories of teachers saying some pretty messed up shit to you or doing something messed up. In my case, I remember being sat on being in, not elementary school, what is this, preschool, right? Yeah, I remember being sat on in preschool. I never mentioned anything to my mom, I never mentioned anything to the teachers, nothing, but I just remember me being the ADHD little fuck ever, and just like never being asleep during nap time. I think my mom said I had ADD, not ADHD, which I don't know. I mean, the difference is slight, I guess. Either way, like I said, I can't really remember if this happened as a kid or it was just a figure of my imagination, but I am almost 99% sure that this happened. So yeah, Kai got sat on as a kid.
The closet can be a scary place, especially when adults are spinning the tale.
They just refer to it as the monster closet.
Who told you there's a monster in there?
My teacher.
Not just told the story, but allegedly put several 3- and 4-year-old children in a dark janitor closet for 5 minutes at a time for acting up in class.
Now, you see right there, 5 minutes at a time, and there were multiple kids. So, I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, this sounds less and less terrible, but it's still bad. Now see, if you put me and 4 of my buddies in the closet at our age, we'd be laughing and just fucking off the entire time. But like, see, the difference is, right, is I'm 18 and in high school, and this is a kid in not even in he's in pre-K. He's not even in kindergarten yet. He's in pre-K. So yeah, when he sees a dark little monster in the closet or even hears about one, he's gonna believe it. And then on top of that, he's forced to go face these demons in the closet when he does something bad in class. Yeah, that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is psychological torture. And I promise you, that shit probably worked. I'm gonna be honest. I bet you that class was disciplined as a motherfucker after all that. Oh, Tyler, stop eating the crayons, please. Stop drawing on Vanessa. Thank you. Oh, you're not gonna do it? Okay. Go to the fucking monster closet. You idiot. Yup, open up the door. Think about what you've done. Then come out when I call you.
I don't like going in closets. And because it's scary.
He got so upset, he vomited.
Yeah, you see how crazy that is? He's so scared of the fact that he was in the monster closet that when he thought about it, he threw up. Like, think about it. That's how scarred this kid is, that even at the thought of the monster closet, he just hurls everywhere. That right there is artificial fear. And I'm gonna be honest, guys, ladies and gentlemen, the one thing you're always gonna have to remember, my bad, I had to get my voice back. Ladies and gentlemen, the one thing you're always gonna have to remember is, think about this for a second, right? There are things in this world that are scary to us in a lot of ways, right? Even demons and things that we don't know about. Maybe that's real, maybe not. You never know, right? Folk stories and things like that always have a truth to them. But psychologically, right? Your mind can think of anything. Your mind is your worst enemy when it comes to fear. Because in reality, when you're in the dark, right, and you're starting to get a little anxious, you're scared, you're unaware of your surroundings, you're kind of just like, damn, what could be lurking out there? And you start thinking. And you just think and think and think. Then eventually you come up with something scary that probably isn't even there. And it's scary enough that you're just like, nah, I'm good. Not trying to go in there or step outside in the darkness and shit like that. And I'm gonna be honest, that was me as a kid. And that's still some people that I know to this day. I mean, we all do it sometimes. It's always like, oh, well, what's the worst that could happen? And then you really start thinking about the worst that could happen. And then shit just kind of hits the fan from there. Now, me being Spanish, we had a lot of like little urban legends, I guess, as a kid, like the chupacabra and shit like that. That was a thing. The cuco was another, which was basically like the Puerto Rican boogeyman. At least at my household, I guess he used to chill in the basement, so like I was always scared of going to the basement. I wasn't trying to get snagged up, you feel me? Now it's kind of whenever when I see him, I'll dap him up and I'll go on about my day and go search for some juice or some shit. Cause honestly, dude, my basement is full of food for no reason. Like my grandmother just be couponing and shit. It's crazy. Anyway, back to the topic. I can argue, I guess, that this isn't really the worst punishment ever because growing up, right? Even in the 90s, I'm pretty sure back then, other people that are older than me experienced the same thing because growing up in the early 2000s, you kind of experienced what everyone else did as a kid way back when. So yeah, we got our asses whooped, we got told those urban legends, you know, we got to hear about all the shit that happened way back when, then and again, shit like that, you know what I'm saying? Like, we all heard that growing up. All the unsolved mysteries, the inside jokes, and the goofy stuff that you used to hear all the time. Passed on from generation to generation. Now, I completely understand because I'm pretty sure those teachers probably had something similar done to them and they thought it was just perfectly fine. That or they're just this fucking evil and they're that chick from Matilda. What was her name? Miss Trenchbull. That's the name of the woman. Miss Trenchbull. That's who that is. And if you know about that show, or movie, excuse me, you really are real for that. Like, Matilda's a good-ass movie. Anyway, let's continue.
You're taking a 4-year-old, putting them in a dark closet, and that's like torture. That's a torture to an adult that's afraid of the dark.
His mother is pulling the boy out of Varnett Charter School.
They're pretty serious allegations, and they certainly are a violation of our policy.
Dr. Annette Clough is the founder and superintendent of Varnett Charter School, says the school disciplinary policy for the pre-K level is timeout.
I was appalled.
Nah, she thought that shit was hilarious. Did you see the smirk she just had on her face? You couldn't convince me at all that she remotely cared. This is exactly why I don't like charter schools. And honestly, public school is the way to go unless you're going to like a really high-end private school like IMG for sports or some shit. Now, don't get me wrong, I've heard some okay stories about, you know, private schools and shit like that. But at the end of the day, guys, it is what it is, you know. Everything is ran differently, especially when it's in a private school, I guess, because the curriculum is different. One day when I get enough money, I want to actually make my own school, which I think would be fucking cool. But either way, school really is school, so, you know.
And not being here to investigate it immediately, it made me more infuriated to know that this had happened.
And that's why she immediately suspended without pay the teacher and teacher's assistant. School administrators say as part of their investigation, they'll be talking to all of the children in that class, but that's not all they'll rely on. There are also video cameras in that classroom. This little man is glad he's not going back.
Because it's mustard in it.
No matter what anyone says now. In Southwest Houston, Jeremy Diesel, KHOU 11 News.
See, up until the final stretch of his time being in the school, he still thinks, even right now, probably not right now, but at the time that video was shot, he genuinely believed that the monsters were still real. Now, obviously, these monsters aren't real, but, you know, we can't tell them that now. We gotta just keep the secret going. Either way, it is what it is. Thank you all for watching, everyone. You made it this far into the video, you might as well subscribe down below. If you look more on the screen right there, there's more videos just like this one. Like the video if you liked this, like if you did. Follow my social media in the description. And guys, I think I'm gonna do another What Would Kaya Do pretty soon, so watch out for that. The leftover podcast plans are in motion, so you guys should expect that one soon. And like I said, thank you all for watching. All my social media in the description. Like the video if you liked it. And yeah, watch more videos, and I'll see you guys later. It's been Kaya, beating children, and I am gone. Peace.